Do you ever feel like you're not living up to your potential? Do you ever feel like you're just going through the motions in life, never really accomplishing anything? If so, you might be suffering from what Steven Pressfield calls resistance, and the only way to overcome it is to turn pro. In his best-selling book, The War of Art, Pressfield draws on his own experiences as a writer and his observations of other successful people to show that the key to success is a simple mindset shift. He argues that everyone has two modes, amateur and professional, and when we find ourselves procrastinating or struggling to get started on a task, it's because we've slipped into the amateur mode. But by turning pro, by adopting a professional mindset, we can overcome resistance and achieve our goals. In this video, we'll explore the key ideas from the War of Art and how you can use them to turn pro in your own life. Let's get started. We all have dreams and goals that we want to achieve, whether it's starting a business, writing a book, or creating something that makes a difference in the world. But often, we find ourselves procrastinating or struggling to take the first step towards our goals. We might feel overwhelmed or anxious, or maybe we're just not sure where to start. This is when it's important to remember that we all have two modes, amateur and professional. As Pressfield explains, an amateur is someone who does a thing for fun or as a hobby, while a professional is someone who does a thing as their job or career. The key difference between these two modes is that amateurs are motivated by pleasure, while professionals are motivated by purpose. Amateurs want to do things when they feel like it, while professionals do things because they need to, regardless of how they feel. When we find ourselves struggling to get started on a task, it's usually because we've slipped into the amateur mode. We might be thinking about all the things that could go wrong, or all the reasons why we can't do it. Or maybe we're just not interested in the task at hand. Whatever the reason, we need to remind ourselves that we're capable of more than just giving in to resistance. So, how do we turn pro? What's the mindset shift that we need to make? According to Pressfield, it all comes down to two words: showing up. When we decide to turn pro, we're committing to showing up every day and doing the work, even when we don't feel like it. We're committing to showing up and facing resistance head on, no matter what it throws our way. Of course, this does not mean that we are never allowed to take a day off, or that we always need to be working around the clock. It just means that we're committed to showing up consistently and doing the work that needs to be done. This is the mindset shift that will allow us to overcome resistance and achieve our goals. But why is this mindset so powerful? Why is showing up the key to overcoming resistance? Pressfield argues that resistance only has power over us when we give it power. When we turn pro and commit to showing up every day, we take away resistance's power over us. We become less reactive and more proactive in our approach to work. Instead of waiting for inspiration or motivation to strike, we simply show up and do the work. And over time, this consistency leads to success. But don't just take my word for it. Let me share with you a few of my favorite quotes from the War of Art that illustrate this mindset shift. Resistance is the universal solvent, the great equalizer. It doesn't care if you're a genius or an idiot. It doesn't care if you're young or old, rich or poor, famous or unknown. It'll find you, and I guarantee you, it'll beat the hell out of you if you let it. But you don't have to. You can turn pro. You can choose to rise above resistance and become a professional in your field. Turning pro isn't easy. It takes discipline, focus, and determination, but the rewards are immeasurable. It's the key to unlocking your potential, achieving your goals, and living a life that you're proud of. So, if you're struggling to get started on a task, if you're feeling overwhelmed or unmotivated, just remember to turn pro. Show up, do the work, and over time you'll see the results. Steven Pressfield uses the metaphor of an artist and a muse to explain the relationship between amateurs and professionals. In Pressfield's view, amateurs believe that their muse inspires them to create, but professionals know that their muse is nothing more than resistance in disguise. They understand that the muse only appears when they're about to embark on a new project or when they're faced with a difficult creative challenge, and its sole purpose is to hold them back. However, professionals don't let the muse dictate their actions. They know that creativity is a muscle that needs to be exercised, and they show up to do the work every day, regardless of whether the muse is present or not. By doing so, they gradually weaken the resistance and overcome the challenges that stand in their way. Ultimately, this allows them to produce their best work and achieve their creative goals. But wait, there's more. Now, let's dive deeper into another fascinating aspect of the war of art. Are you tired of feeling stuck in your personal or professional life? Do you feel like you're not living to your full potential and achieving your dreams? If so, then you're not alone. In fact, according to Steven Pressfield, this common struggle is due to a phenomenon he calls resistance. Think of resistance as an invisible force that holds you back from pursuing and achieving what you truly desire. It's that negative voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough or that it's too late to start. But don't believe it, because according to Pressfield, resistance is nothing more than fear disguised as practicality. You see, we all have the ability to create and achieve amazing things, but fear often prevents us from doing so. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown. These fears can paralyze us and keep us stuck in our comfort zone. But here's the good news. According to Pressfield, once you become aware of resistance, you can start to overcome it. He suggests that the key is to turn pro, to adopt a professional mindset and take action despite your fears. By doing so, you can weaken resistance and ultimately achieve your goals. But that's not all. Pressfield also teaches us that resistance is not something to be feared. In fact, he argues that it can be a valuable ally. When you learn to recognize resistance as a natural and necessary part of the creative process, you can use it to your advantage. For example, you can use resistance as a signal that you're on the right track, or that you need to take a different approach. By embracing resistance instead of fearing it, you can become a more creative and effective problem solver. And that's not all. According to Pressfield, resistance is not just a personal challenge, it's a universal one. Every person who has ever tried to create something new, whether it's an artist, an entrepreneur, or a scientist, has had to overcome resistance to do so. This means that you're not alone in your struggles, and that everyone who has achieved something great has had to face their fears and doubts. By understanding this, you can gain the courage and determination to pursue your own dreams and overcome any obstacles in your way. So, if you're feeling stuck or unmotivated, Remember that you're not alone. You just need to turn pro, embrace resistance, and keep moving forward. Now, if you found this video helpful, I have a favor to ask you. Please hit that like button and subscribe for more videos on personal growth, productivity, and success. Your support would mean the world to me. And hey, if you'd like to dig deeper into the mindset of success, check out my video on the one thing that separates winners from losers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.